to join. Geshe, maybe you can make one more person as co-host. So while I am talking, and if someone is in a waiting room, they can let them in. Like maybe Nikhila, who has offered to help, she can become co-host along with me, so she can let people in.
Okay.
I'll check with that person who is waiting to get inside whether she managed or not. I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. I'm Rinalini and Nikhila, volunteer study coordinator, along with esteemed teacher Venerable Geshe Lobsang Tenzin, translator Tenzin Lakpala, background support team Tenzin and Tashila, and the core team of Menlhai Jamtse Foundation welcome you to the Lorig course. I just want to check whether I'm audible enough. Just say a thumbs up. Okay, great. Thank you. Uh, as you know, this course will last for 8 months, 2 sessions per month, mainly on second and fourth Sunday from 2 p.m. Indian Standard Time to 3:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. History of Menlhai Jamtse Foundation. Menlhai Jamtse Ling is a Tibetan Buddhist center in Mumbai. It was established by Geshe Lobsang Tenzin in 2018, located in the bustling city of Mumbai, India. The name Menlhai Jamtse Ling translates to the island of love and compassion of Medicine Buddha, reflecting the center's mission to promote healing, compassion, and spiritual growth. The Menlhai Jamtse Ling Center was officially registered as Section 8 non-profit organization Menlhai Jamtse Foundation in 2022. Mumbai, with its large and diverse population, has many individuals interested in Tibetan Buddhism. However, there has been a lack of places for systematic study of Tibetan Buddhist teachings in the city. This gap motivated Venerable Geshe Lobsang to create MJL, offering a space for locals and visitors to explore Buddhist psychology and practices. In a city known for its fast paced, often stressful lifestyle, many of Mumbai's inhabitants struggle with personal and professional challenges, leading to anxiety and mental strain. Recognizing the therapeutic benefits of Buddhist practices like mindfulness, meditation, compassion, wisdom, and mind training, Geshe offers this teaching to help individuals achieve emotional healing, cultivate inner peace amidst the pressures of modern life. Menlhai Jamtse Ling aims to provide not only a spiritual refuge but also a pathway to greater emotional well-being for all who seek it. I request everyone to join me for the prayers. I have shared the PDF with everyone. Since I am joining from the mobile, I request you to open the prayers on your respective laptops and screens. Take refuge and generating bodhicitta. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Four immeasurables. May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings not be separated from the bliss that is free of suffering. May all sentient beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred towards those near and far. May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings not be separated from the bliss that is free of suffering. May all sentient beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred towards those near and far. May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings not be separated from the bliss that is free of suffering. May all sentient beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred towards those near and far. Now I request Venerable Lobsang Tenzin La to start the session. Thank you.
관계 도제에서는 나와 담제 범위제 담배 신이 된다. 도담된 라자제로스. Dr. and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. I'm very happy to see your interesting and dedication this course. I'm sure this course will help you for a deeper understanding of mind and inner transformation. So Lorig is actually study how our mind works, how we perceive, feel, think, and respond. It is the profound of understanding both suffering and the path to liberation. This subject is not only profound, but very practical. Whether we are Buddhist or not, understanding our own mental pattern, our emotion arising, how attachment, anger, and ignorance affect us. It can bring great benefit in our daily lives. Since today we are going to Lorig. Okay, Lorig. Menlhai mentioned this course. So Menlhai, thank you. Also, main teachings I'm going to talk in Tibetan language. It's easy for me. Also, it's good for you more understanding because we have a good translator, Tenzin Lapala here. So Tenzin Lapala, welcome. Also, thank you. Accept this course to translator. So now actually we are going to study mind, right? Mind. Actually, mind doesn't have form, color, smell, taste, nothing. Therefore, we can't see mind by our eye. We can't hear mind. Mind doesn't sound, we can't hear our ear. We can't know mind, our nose. What's our touch? So how we can study about mind? This looks like strange, right? So I think that not in better and better. So then on the same stage, make time, make time, like what time, starting to do it, then also they got a jungle loss and the chance of what 2 minutes.
Geshe, maybe Tenzin Lakpala is also facing problem like me. You need to make him a co-host so that he can unmute himself. Yeah, he has sent a message. Can the host unmute me? So, Geshe, you being the host, you can unmute him. Or I will also try if you have made me co-host. Let me.
Yes, so Teshitele, so Geshe said, a mind is a very strange thing. It cannot be seen. We cannot smell the mind, nor can we hear it. So when we say that we're going to study about the mind, Geshe said, isn't it a very strange thing or a very strange mission we're on?
그래서 나 간저게 지단야 삼세버려 쌤 미크통에 라바차에 근데 그 따진데 고에미나 먼저 장데 장해들이 막 보여 배차잖아 아따데 디어라 그나 나가면다 르지 록 동다 망방거게 내조인데 따다나 가서 장도 하고 미크통에 말에 이내 라바스메 말에 전화싱이 에너지 세든데 그나 딘데도 어제 배나 봄라 딘데 토네 장해요라 안지 토네 난 어떤데 손다 안에 찌점 장해들이요라 배차잖아 아빠 인스턴트 그 봄라게다 좀 이 이퀄 MC 시퀄로 된더도 봄라도 된데 토네 안에 배쳤다냐 장해들이요라 다 샘들라 안에 찌점이 된데 장해요 찌점다 봄라된데 배쳤다는 장해 배쳤잖아 어때 간다 샘서 장거렸어 근데 디 안에 전도 되고냐 샘들도 되는 예스 간다 장거렸어
So Geshe said that so since mind is something that cannot see, nor it's something tangible that we can touch. So Geshe said that it's a really strange thing to say that we're going to study about mind, because even though there are many other things which are formless, like the energy and many things that we study in and interactions we study in science, which we can study through the sort of like the methods and formulas and experimentation. But mind, so being so, Geshe said that it is truly strange when we say that we're going to study about the mind. So Geshe asked this question. He posed this question to everyone. He said, "What do you think is study of mind?"
Does anyone like to answer that, what Geshe asked? And I hope you are able to unmute. If not, then you can just put the text in the chat box.
Mind is, can I speak?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mind is composed of 4 processes: Vedna, Sanya, Sanskar, and Vijnana, consciousness. When it comes in contact with the surrounding 6 senses, including mind, 5th sense, then there occurs Vedna means registration of the things, external objects. Sanya means perception, identification, labeling of the object surrounding. And then Sankhara, next stage is Sankhara, means depending upon the accumulation of the things, memories, I mean, we react to the external object. And then there occurs a final mental reaction, volition, and then finally consciousness. So mind should be there in each process. Unless that, we cannot identify the external object, which comes in contact with the five sense organs like eye, tongue, ear, nose, and skin, and mind with thoughts. Thank you.
That's what you should. Quran ki Christmas na nga ki sem sheba de nga ki lo tong che ki shiza de nga ki hombu nga bo na nga choa du che number sheba shi nga ki pa ye bu de na so nga ki choa sheba de nga ki chi ke la so ba den be wang de nga ki choa chuma la so ba ta du sheba de nga ki yu to be chu nga du ta chen la to be nga du ta ani number sheba den je shi ki den do an di shi de nga ki rāngi pōngbō ngā pō tīyā ngā tō chī kī ngā tō kī wāngbō ngā lā tēnch anī yū tō pē chū kī ngā tō kī sēm chē pā tēlā ngā tō kī lōpsōng chē rīmbā chī ngā tō lōpsōng chē tō kī ngā tō kī tō tāng chī yōng chō gu rēs mā chī khurā lēn tō kia sō.
Ngā ya nē ya wā shē rā tō chē shē shē dā tā shimbā bā jē mī sā nē jāng kē sō mē sā rē tā mē tū tā nē ngā tō kē sēm sē tē nē kō lā jāng nā nē jāng kē bē tā jī tāng kō rā sēm tō nā ngū tī shē tē jī tā māng bō chūng wā tā nā ngā mō yī nū chō tō bā yō rē tā ngā nē shē ē shē nā lō rā sēm sē tē kō ngū tī shē tā ndā sēm tē kō wā nē yō rē dī kō nā nē ngū tī shē tā sō 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 yāng tā sō tī nā mē rō māng bō yō tā kā shē sēm sē nā kō yō sā nā dī lē pā lā yō rē sē chē kā shē sēm sē nā nīng nā yō rē sē tī ndē lō sō kō yā nē ngū tī shē tā māng bō yō rē tā tā chī tū tā nā ngā tō kio tō chē nā sēm sē tē kō yō rē chēng tō sē.
So Geshe said that, Geshe said, thank you very much. It was a wonderful answer. And he said, since there isn't anyone else who would like to answer, he said that he's going with the lesson. And he said, as we look through, generally, as we go through different traditions and different timelines, we have seen that different sort of civilization have tried to establish different assertion of theories regarding what is mind, where is mind. There are certain assertions that some group have asserted these theories where the mind is in the brain. And so Geshe has posed this question. He has asked, where do you think this thing called mind is, if it is somewhere in our body? Please ask, where do you think this mind is?
Anyone like to answer? Just unmute. I think Cyrus, you can go ahead.
Geshe, I would think the mind is limited to our senses, like whatever I can sense. I mean, that is where the mind exists. I mean, limited to the senses and my reach, like, So, yeah.
That's what Geshe Quran karasonsuna yegi samsi cheba ina sheba dinga tsaki choshe wangbo ki tosu toya yoba kari isna disama sheba de samgutus choshe wangbo le shengi nga tsaki toba kari na di yegi tanda kene pugmi to ngara susu ki nese poya samtana choshe wangbo ki kari tosu na tenze ki tobe chadi nga tsaki sheba la ki de samgutus la shikiko tagara sonsu.
Nasa ya tojana ani sheba dina yore tanda.
Gisela said, very wonderful answer. Does anyone else wants to try?
Mind is not a static thing which can be stated to be permanent and situated here and there. Mind and body are or physical. This body is made up of physical element and mental elements. Physical element, earth, water, fire, and air, and mind is made up of 4 processes, and they are impermanent, changing from fraction of second, thousands of times. So it is not a permanent thing that it is situated here and there. We cannot say like that.
That's all. Kunangi karasonso na nga tsaki sheba de nga tsaki hongbu na shi nga tsaki toto sadi chil ne de chi ve samgu mendus. Dema se nga to sheba de nga tsaki takbe ki chue chi ve samgu mendus. Ko nga tsaki karla na tsoa du she namba sheba di shi la tenbe wangi. Tena chash na nga tsaki pungso nga tsugi pungpo la sopa yinpa ina nga rang tsugi kala na kham nga zombe wangi nga zo me chu sa lung nam kha tenzu zombe wangi nga zo pungpo de zhou yinpo des ane kola nga zo kongpo na xe dodo ji shimsa ji yo des ma zo le nga rang tsugi tanda di sheba di la tenze ki kongpo dodo dakpa wa ji yo ma des ane te sonza sheba di korangi sonda chi na sa ji ji dugu tu ji de la yo de la ji la tuye ki nga tsugi ji ngobo ji chue ji sa ma des la ji kwa song
tanda doctor 아까 저기 야바시라 송송 네 도시 아니 엘로가지 직선에 있어 I think so 엘로가지 you want to say something
Yes, hi. May I answer?
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think mind is closely associated with our body. Now, the science has different views. So, neuroscientists say that actually many scientists say that mind is associated with the brain. But nowadays, new research has indicated that there is a brain in the gut also. So maybe I'm thinking that maybe it is closely associated with the body, but we cannot pinpoint and saying this is where the mind resides.
나 성어 프랑게 그렇소서는 나나 쓰기 단다 왕자 쓰리 바다 쓰리 바 마시기 나 쓰기 셈 라스는 레바 라라 파 두구둥이 그것도 제고 됐는데 또 그것도 지시도 오res 아니 코랑랑기 섬지 제스는 나 쓰기 셰바 등아 쓰기 수부 용조를 캬베 나 쓰기确实있어です하이스는 레바랑 있어만 등상아 쓰기 지도 나로를 계속 같이 보는 거 쓰기 나 쓰기 포와요로 포바 포와나로 나 쓰기 셰베기 포와된데 용야다 된제기 포와된데 여바지 된데 셰고를 포나 디켈링 유스 하이스는 셰바 등아 쓰기 레바점 메바 수고 차상 파탐 요리 섬섬 지 탑요리 섬섬도 지 파랑 나 쓰기 섬지 된데 지 여성소 아니 다동 게실라티 the chat nanglo langa ji trupti jain khurang gi kar solution na sheba de namshe sheba de phaye bares nga so mutha me bares phaye bares nga so gi dinga so gi sujin gi nga so gi chue nam yang ma des o dang nga so gi ko yue da me le da ma de lai chi langa so shi sha de ani nga rang so gi ta da yo che gi chu du le ba lai chi nga so ja chu gu des nga so o de le chi sha na chu gu de ma to sheba khurang nga so gi 못하면 방아 타이어 버지데스 아니 도저히 뭐 보지 말았어 한테 되시 통사
다 그런 얘기 섬도 야바시라 송사 도시 제시
Gisela said both of the answers are very wonderful and thank you for your answers
근데 다 단다 세리도 다랑 왕자 세리와 neuroscience 근데 가셔서는 랩바 응마나 랩바세 셈세데 가르쳐서나 랩바게 나로게 다 칠레도 야 neurotransmitter level neuroactivity less 딘데도 질 고정 무지 지고 진짜 왕자 진행돼 군저 단자 가서 양 군저에다 이런 거 손에 이제 단다 군저에다 뒤돌아야 님시 리서치 하신다 레바게 돼 in the message 가서나 딱 군저 지 가서나 건저게 낭박에다 냠냠 받든지 아니 카운터 가서 안에 치기다 레바 그게 대 나로하게 봐 달렌드에다 아니 닌 구조단도 매번 내당 차다 통할라 당저 전에 투담래서 내가 가서 안에 놈셈 참아져 그래서 또 된저들은 남지 라파이나 단다파게 돼 neurotransmission 도자 neuro activity 되는 제요 말다 매마다 니가 구조단 보면 근데 med전에 다 미대 안에 속바대 안에 숨바랑라 아니 든다 가셔야 되고 먼저 전에 투담세워라 투담 검세 투담 메디테이션스 저러 데이터는 다 되게 된다는 것을 통해요. 다 된 메시지가 말하는 것을 통되는 다 제시도 되네. 뭐 통고를 다 믿으되는 다 셈스 세디 바제 소진 뭐를 대화 달래바 많이 봐. 달래배 칠레 많이 봐. 이래지 맨도 섬다 것도 된다. 냠시 도시마라.
so Gisela said that like Ilango said Gisela said that definitely there are many neuroscientists and many sort of like researchers in the field of neuroscience who are doing extensive research, and then some of them their assertion that the mind or the consciousness or the mind is brain is something that they assert. And Geshe said that Geshe said that there are many yep can everyone hear me clearly?
Uh,
Uh,
we can hear, but it will be nice if you can be little louder. And sometimes you are getting frozen for me. I hope it is not the same for others.
yes. So okay. So Geshe said that there are many extensive research that are happening, especially the thing that we are that is doing a bit of sort of like a research in both the monasteries and everywhere is the research on Buddhism. And Geshe said that usually when we talk about the activity of the brain in the field of neuroscience, they talk about the different neural activity within different neural transmitters. But Geshe said that during the time of Buddha, it is said that uh, all brainwave activities cease to exist. Not only that, there are also the cardiac activities of the heart also cease to exist, but still there's something called the subtlest wind, which still circulates in the channels of the body during the time of Buddha. So it seems that the person still is capable of being the the person is capable of being alive at that particular time during the time of Buddha. So therefore, Geshe said that the mind might not just merely be a functionality of the brain, but something more than that.
근데 이제 다른도 아니 간저게 아니 샘세데 아니 다 왕복이 유래 대와 왕복가 유래 대와 다 소진 많이 받지 받지 다 라트 용으로 그래 다이나 다디 하코야라 다 세점데 되는 건도 시험 뭔데 이제 안티 돈에 세제를 쏘고다 어디 치료고 소재 좀 뭐지 배제다네 아니 샘틴데레스 저거 줘야지 근데 가보다 채웠어
So understanding the mind to be somewhat saying formless is
Sorry to disturb in between. There are a lot of messages saying that your voice is little muffled. So maybe you can try to take the speak closer to the mic.
yes, I'll try. Let's see.
Yeah, try and then ask everyone so that we respond to you.
Yes.
So little bit of try. Yeah.
Is it much clearer? Is it helping?
No, it's the same for me. How about others? Please help us.
So
You keep speaking so that they can check with you.
okay, so I'm getting closer to the mic. Maybe it's more the network rather than the mic. I don't know. So
I don't think so. Oh.
If I may say, I think when you were coming closer, it was sounding more better. So if you can come closer, that'll be better.
I'll try. So right now, I think this is the closest I can be. So is it clear?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. It's best.
Okay. Allah. So Geshe said that definitely the mind being formless is quite apparent and self-evident, but saying that mind is not an object of perception of the five senses is something that we need to ponder and think about, contemplate about. And definitely many of the activity of the mind, as we see, is something that's beyond the scope of the perception of the senses, of the five senses.
근데 이제 안당한 적에 쌤데 루릭시도 되는 쌤 거는 세워라 쌤 거를 정거라 쌤인데 거랑 아주 이제 장에 가래 개면도 가야 그랬어 쌤 장나 쌤 거는 장나 가르라 그랬어 가르쳐 배야 그랬어
So Geshe is posing a question. He's saying that, okay, so we are here trying to learn and understand about the mind and how it functions. And he's posing the question, what do you think would be the benefit of learning about the mind and the processes of the mind?
나한테 내가 그래 나는 거라 그래 나는 명라 그래 가르쳐내 정거 그랬어 가르쳐 배야 그랬어 소소 쌤 소소 여야 말았다 장고에 민도 왔으면 디레게 독박사시구나 가르쳐내 정거 그랬어
So Geshe added something that since studying about the mind, may not help us sort of get a job, or it might not help us prosper in life in materialistic sense. What do you think is the benefit?
I think we lost you in between, Tenzin Lakpala. Now you are back, I think. So just repeat the question. I can see Dr. Al is asking. I did not understand anything due to the voice issue.
Ah,
So we will try, Dr. Alka. Sorry for the inconvenience.
yes. So Jessica said, he said, since mind, studying about mind, does not help us get a job, or it does not help us prosper in life in the materialistic sense, what do you think is the benefit of studying about the mind?
I think we can we have experiences and we can sense it ourselves. So I think why I mean at least why I would like to study about mind is sometimes I'm happy, but sometimes I'm not happy. I'm dealing with a lot of stress and all these things. So my expectation is that by understanding my mind better, maybe I'll be able to increase my happiness and reduce my suffering if possible.
Lasso Geshe Frank Geshe ngarang so susu ki ilta ki nyawa la teba ina ngarang so la kitu ki nyawa ta ma ta chila ko res ani khana ran la shisha chi shen ki chidu shen ne ngarang ki something is ani khari ina na ngarang ki system ki pola changa chi ras na an tense ki chi tunga da chi ta ani tense ki anga ta chi yorwa nga chi mi chena didi nga chi ki yu tu tang tu sa resan o di chen nga system ki pola changa useless ko
그런 게 쌈도 야고시라도 전도 신바에는 손은
Tata nga piti la kisena ni kiasa rangi ka songshena na mitse na lo la ne dang je de ji che so na nga de ro dila nga chi gi te tang yong gi chi dong nga chi gi pa ta chi ani de nga gi che la dong len chi gi pu chi chi ro nga ta ye ta ka ji son o ne dang kan de chi na de la tang yong gi chi dong nga ta dong len chi dila nga chi pen pa sa de
나선 야고도 이제
Can I speak?
yes
We react to the world with the help of our mind only. Mind is everything. Mind is everywhere. And our body is also under control of mind only.
nga na chi gi rangi
The
ji song
mind is, if we give training to the mind, then we can achieve the goal, that is, we can develop, cultivate the values like compassion, prajna, maitri, karuna, etc. And we can also go forward on the Buddha's way. He has taught us, we can learn and practice in our life and make our life happy and without suffering.
lasa gi shi la Quran ki Christmas na ngan su ki yen la tai ba na nga su ki chue na chue na ti chue na tam chen nga su ki sim ki ngo ne nga su chuma chi nga su ten de yu du mi chen nang lo la dong le che po ye tri chi yin ba na ti dong le che tu ba la an lo la ko ye sem tu nga dong wa cho ko ye sem ki ne lu de dong wa cho ko ye ke chen bo de na dong nga su ten je ki nyam le ki su dong nga su ki yin je da chang ba la so ba dong be 샘빙아 저기 남 남샤디 고추 거 계신 버렸어. 한치송 아주 다자 좀 체계 투도 있긴 랑 저기 지금 지시 제정아 저기 주도에서도 아니 체도 양 아주 샘기 꼴은 아주 장고에 계신 버렸어. 근데 지송소
끝났어 야고시 and Nicholas say something
Yeah, so when it comes to the benefit of studying the mind, I think for me, it's something I'm hoping that will help me to regulate my feelings and emotions. I think a lot of times our feelings are misleading. I don't always trust my emotions and feelings. I feel that maybe I'll have more success in my relationships, my interactions, and the decisions that I make if I understand my mind better. But of course, then it comes to that that is the mind actually controlling the feelings and emotions, or so it's a lot of questions I have. And another question that I have, Geshe, is that when you said that the mind is beyond the scope of the perception of the five senses, what about the sixth sense? Like sometimes we talk about sixth sense when we have a premonition about something, or we feel something will happen, or is that something you consider too, or you don't consider that?
라소 게실라 다 코랑기 그랬송소 코랑기 그랬송소 라나 nga chegi 다 기 나
That
그 미체나를 인바이나 총화기 신왕 또 슈첨부 쇼트고도스 다 덴제기 체도 수술라 담야다 덴제기 체도 nga 수수기 돔토에 저기 셰콜라 고츠에 디케션 보치 레샤스라체 여러 덴데지 송소 테미 코랑기 그랬송소라나 nga chegi 당기 게실라기 데지 송소스 nga 시바 제바딩아 저기 원봉아기가 저기 유지 마레스라지 슈송소스 아니 nga 저기 직된배 다 팅상이나 직된배 타니에 동아 저기 갈라고 nga six sense 라지 기제 시그레스 nga 저기 진내주다 독자 총조 제나 수술 초알레 좀 nga 저 넘규이나 베베 나로라 계실라 nga 저디 남도시에 시도 nga 저기 미다 process na nga 저 따따린 독자 용사레라 조다 덴데기 초아질리기 도와 six sense lao tente gi chowa tenzo le delia nga zo gi sheba gi chochil tengo to ni six sense ade nga khande da chi de nga zo gi chi sheba da ji nga zo ngonzi che chogu yena la de cho ji kuso
단다 안에 내게라 요것이라 송수 덴데 자에 덴바레다 먼저 쌤 나로라 남자 준도 안에 공들라 디도 그 처음 먹고 용대 버다 장신 용대 버다 또 참잘라 안에 디도 그 처와 된도 슉체베 쩐지 슉체타베 쩐지 이모션라라 근데 슉체베 쩐지 아니 강아 먹고 싶을 때 대선다 안에 간저 쌤 세디 강아 먹고 충전되나야 쌤 그 첨부 써용 거로 쌤 그 첨부 써나 간다 쓰고도 때 마스에 답이 카드도 쓰네 거나 담바 쌤세데 가르에서 하고 이렇게 좀 쌤진에 학교는 먹어봐라 쌤 그ton에 체르다 충을 했어야지 아니 가고 싶었죠 저도 쌤데 거를 약고 시험바이나 알레다 쌤데 강아 충전돼 쌤 그 첨부 써야 돼 소당 되랬어도 그때 매봤어야 된대래도 제가 가서 담바 쌤세데 준에 한 먹거나 내 안에 마 용르다 마운트 해줘라 내가 저때 마운트에다 또 저 용다인데 가고 싶었어
so Geshe said that what Nikhila said is true and that definitely in our lives we've faced different degrees of suffering, and then when we looked or analyzed certain aspects of these sufferings, we need to analyze why is this particular suffering that we are facing at this moment giving us this degree of suffering, and why is it like expanding? How does it expand? How does a sort of like a small suffering becomes a large, unbearable suffering? And definitely understanding these aspects in which the mind tend to manipulate in a way for us to make things in that way, or suffering to suffer in that way, it helps us to tackle the suffering. And that is why it's important to study the sort of like the types and the different sort of theories regarding the mind.
이제 아니다나 왕보 trouble 다 대적을 내면 뭐 지난 망보 내면 뭐 지난 남시 인간 남시 trouble 어디 지단게 예지 셔봤어요 여러 왕보 trouble 왕방을 가는 예지 넘어 셔봤어 왕보 남시 trouble 지난 남시 다 낭박에 야 된다게 나눠라야 남시 만용게 대 셔주 망보 남시 제세를 써보다 trouble 써고 어디에 망보여 네트 거든 정말 칼리칼리 마용게 세바사바 차그를 팅도스
So Geshe said that regarding the question of the sixth sense Geshe said that we're going to talk about the six different types of mind. So he said that in Buddhism we have different assertion. Some sort of like philosophical tenet, they talk about the six group mind, and the others talk about the eight group mind. So we're going to discuss these things later in our classes. Like the sixth mind that you just mentioned in the assertion, it would be it is understood as the consciousness of the mind. So we have five gate consciousness, and then the sixth consciousness is considered to be the consciousness of the mind. Similarly, in the eight group consciousness, we talk about the alaya. So Geshe said that we're going to discuss about these things later in our classes.
아니, 대선 당한제 셈세대开始뭐 쇼를听懂还是吧? 셈세대可能하고 왔지. 당한제 남편진도 남편 한제 매제는 용신 받지. 미드 약벌에 도자래서 오라. 단 랩드전에 미드게 속보를 셔고래. 야 미드게 주변전에 전에 셔고래. 야 잡적으로 럽종전에 셔고래. 럽종이나 미드 럽종에 약고였던 미 약고요 말세다. 앞에도 주촉벌에도 미 약고요 말서라. 미 약고요 왔어. 컨데스트 내가 좀 셔도 그랬어.
So Geshe said that when we talk about the mind and someone having good heart, a good person, how do we regard someone to be a good person? Is it based on the degree of the amount of knowledge that they have accumulated? Is it something that is based on the amount of wealth that they have accumulated? What do you think a good person should be considered as? What do you think a good person is?
Only Buddha said that only knowledge is not important, but along with knowledge, one must have Prajna, Shil, Maitri, Karuna. Prajna means wisdom, Shil means morality. Karuna means compassion. And Maitri means to all the human beings, and all human beings, and Maitri means to all the beings in the nature, to everyone. So only knowledge is not important. Along with knowledge, all the qualities Buddha has told must be present in the person.
다 가르송슬나 nga chegi yunden tsam sheja tsam yoba tsam ki yunden tsam yoba tsam ki nga chegi khangsa de mi ya ho chi nga ju thog ma res mi ya sheba de la kechu tadung khari ku re la na nga chwe pena chashna nga chegi sherap tempa shejin sheshin phape ani nga chegi draw tam mi be ningje da chamba dendechi yuanye ki nga zo kebu khangsa chi yoban dendechi nga zo khangsa yakpo la nga zo ki chue thogu res
너 그런 거 yap으셔라 송송 다디 뒤도 채워 당한테 미 yap으셔봐대 안에 미 치료기 속벽이 숙제 약로 데네터네 미 yap으셨어 laptop 거만 가서 남자 준대 가지고 밑에 인도 거시 보이나 다 부터 보면 용체부터 이나 미 yap어야 말쓰고 남자 가서 해야 되고 대신에 미 약만 써봐대 남자 준대 먼저 랑중 코네 아니 미기 럽좀 계좌 열매 맞대봐 란싱게 더 캐네체데 미 약만에서는 술로 속고 많이 받아 써보셔버렸어. 속고 약마야 시험을 못 써보셔버렸어.
lasso so Geshe said that what answer was wonderful, and he said that definitely that is the case. To be a good person, one should have all these sort of qualities to become a good person. And he said that usually the kind of thing in the society, we said, oh, that person has a good looks, but it's not a very good person. That person has a lot of education, it's very educated, but not a good person. So that tells us that these sort of things are not enough to establish someone to be a good person or not. It is like things like you said, the karuna, the things like compassion, loving kindness, and also the wisdom, pragyana. All of these things sort of comes together to make a person someone that is considered to be a good person. 아니 다 딩외데 단다 이바나라 코랑기 게실라 당기 딩외데 셰바 톨롭존 체나 카르케빈요 라드나 렌 카이케샬나 차트나로라 ngaranchugi nimat shibure chiwa mata pati kolanga cho hakhoela semgi namshati ko chubu bures la jisungsha ani tanda ilango la korangi kharsung shala na nga chigi khangsa susue nga chigi sheba la yunden dang nga zu shebe gi yunden den de la ta che nga zu ko shiga la soba den zel ta che khangsa chi yakpu yu da me la de den pap tu gure song sha ani trupita chen korangi shala na nga chigi khangsa sheba de nga chigi rang chen zi gi lo di pa do che ani draw ri to sem che tham che gi ten to shen chen zi gi lo chi yo bai na den de chi la nga khangsa yakpo sheba mi yakpo shebe thani ti jo chogu res la chi den de song
나 관저 장막에 삼도 야고시라 송샤. 나디 원에도 뒤로 채워. 네 저런데 삼도 상마 송마다 아니. 제세랑 예选이.
So Geshe said that every one of you have answered, and definitely it's more important to put these things into practice, which makes it even more wonderful. And so Geshe said that he rejoices in all of your answers.
나 언제 아니 미 상방 되려고. 아니 미야고 그거 상마. 미야고 그거도 쓰고 다 소소. 족보에나래 소소 족보에나 그래 야고 그거도 써. 소소 야고 제양 되고 싫어요. 근데 망고 용거 다 지도. 족보 저 야고 그거에나 소소에나 야고 제거도 개지 뭐라. 나라 미 야고 그거 야고 그거 소소 제단이야. 왜때 하나 때 야고 나는 만도 봐야나. 아니 야고 쓰고 그거도 써 봐야나 띠 따다 되고 말스.
So every one of us aspire to become a good person. We always say that we want to be a good person. And similarly, we also yearn for our companion or someone that is our friend to be a good person. But it is important to understand that to have a good companion, it is also important to be a good person. To attract someone who is a good person, it's also important for oneself to become a good person.
this 나나 지금 안에 간저 남자 준도 this 뭐라 미야마 셈나 셔도 되나 지금 안에 맞지부터 지부면도 써라 아 맞지는 지부면도 쓰네 가르쳐서 저랑 셈바 지부면도 써라 맞지는 지부시라도 그때 가서 셈 지부셔도 써라 찜 맞집 써와다 안에 미야마도 써도 다 파야 보자 14번 가서 따와이나 셈나 독일로 지도
So usually when someone asks us, are you sometimes like, oh, I'm not happy, I don't feel good, I don't feel well, I'm not feeling very well, very good. And when we sort of like look into it, when we sort of like analyze the statement that we're saying that I'm not happy, I'm not well, when we go into a deeper understanding, it seems that everything comes down to our mind.
그래서 나 안에 수색 지부 고요나 안에 대화 고요나 대화 용사대 저거게 셈게 대화래도 셈게 시대세 셈게 시대에 안에 미사고는 고거래 셈게 동아 소지를 고거 말 소소로 고거 말 소소 나무 빈자로 고거 말 다네 쟁 저거 좀 술래나다 고거 말다데 또 먹고는 셈게 시대 고거 나다 셈게 시대 간다 소거래 소라 한 두바질래 명거라 셈게 시대 소와나 지롱 오 저기 소토 카보쇼 저거
So then, when we come down to the understanding of all of these things, we come down to a very sort of like a very simple answer that we want peace of mind. We want to have peace of mind. Everyone wants peace of mind. No one wants suffering of the mind. So therefore, even your friends, your parents, everyone near and dear to you wants peace of mind. So now the question that comes naturally is, how do we cultivate that peace of mind? How does it function? How does our mind function to give us that particular peace of mind?
그래서 나 치료 응급요원에 참산에 찍어도 해 연구다. 친구요원에 때때 연구다. 네 템포스요 말. 당아저 배도 차셔다. 여자 중심 아래 담내 나라다. 야고 갖다 쳐줘 아래 있어라. 메리게 단다 신데다 그런 trou고 일론 막스도 다 담내 나는 죽도 들어다. 죽도 제션. 나 권이 대바르라다 참보시고 차는다. 나 다나양 가서 녀로 용대도. 그래 거기도 대체도는 치고 뭐데 직tempo 매도 참자나 여대 비슷해. 나 참자나 후배 주초조로. 그래서 치고 뭐데는 지라지라 하나사요 말고 주초조레스. 당원서 가서 통대보다 내가 잠내나 가다 제션 제가 아리 되게 센데다 내 잠내나 주축요. 단자 가서 죽다 이런 막스로다 도나dom다. 내가 저 용대보다 돼. 가르치는 쪽을 든서. 대 주변저 되게 참보다보다 즉 가능성도 돼. 템포 주는 거. but chese 좀 받아 들지라 냥보시라 요물스.
So it seems that this type of peace of mind cannot be established by material things, by external things. The sort of joy and happiness the external things brings us are all perishing, are perishable, meaning they change with time. And so they are not reliable source of happiness and peace. And one very apparent example, illustration of this is when it comes to materialistic acquisition, we see the president of the richest country in the world, that is America, and the sort of his buddy, the richest person in the world, that is Elon Musk, who have accumulated unimaginable wealth in their life. Materialistically, they have everything possible, but we still find that they have conflict, they have a suffering of the mind. So look,
티 가르스 되는 거나. 이마다 티 가르스.
okay, so it seems that I was frozen.
체도 되는 거나.
Now, tanda khanda do,
다다냐고도.
tanda odds
다 왔어. 다니. 인기만 되셨어.
Okay. So I'll repeat myself. Very sorry. So Geshe said that it seems that the peace of mind is not something that comes from materialistic things or external things. And he said that even if the materialism or materialistic things bring you a certain degree of joy, all of these are perishable. They sort of perish with time. This joy vanishes with time and passes. And it's not a very reliable joy, happiness or joy. So therefore, Geshe said that a very apparent example is the president of the United States, richest country in the world, and his buddy, the richest person in the world, Elon Musk. In terms of materialism, they have unimaginable accumulation of materialism. And if it was that the materialism could have given them peace of mind, they would have the highest degree of peace of mind. But it seems that it is not the case, and that they are currently having conflict and so sort of like suffering of the mind. So Geshe said that by these apparent example, it seems that it's not just the materialistic things that could bring you, and it's definitely not the materialistic things that brings you peace of mind.
언제서는 당 저기 디베전도 디다 베전 디자면 찍으면다 다 딘낭신 칸데다 쳐버려 가서 베전 공사점을 잡는 날에 달라서 산요나나 로데게 되게 내조지를 다 디다부터 남샤 주던 가서 여기 지도 나나 뺐다 칸데다 저야 이 장가되는 뜻이에요 말 뭔가 연구를 그래서 저는 된적에 친구 보게 디제 담더라 당한정 엄마한테 가고서는 쌤그 디제 써주고라 쌤 디제 고발라 쌤 되게 근데 디제 중에라 네 매용아체 쌤 쪽된 거더라 쌤 쪽에도 가래도 대도 망보지 내 문제 제거에 계속 보셔죠
So therefore, there are numerous examples such as this, which can tell us that materialism is not the sort of like the factor that brings us peace of mind. And then when we look at the joy and happiness, there are joy and happiness that are brought about by the materialistic thing. There are joy and happiness and peace brought by the practice of the mind. And so it seems that the joy and happiness and the peace of mind is something that is more stable, and that is something that stays with us for a longer duration of time. But then for that, we must also understand from time to time through our experience, we see that there are things that disrupt this peace of mind, that calm mind. And so therefore, we must also study about the mind to understand what are the things and factors which brings about the disruption, disturbance to the peace of mind.
되게 material 된데 실로 친구하고 전제 고야 말 쓰고 말이야. 네, 고가 말로 보세. 친구하고 전제 됐다 맨나야 영어 못다. 근데 가서 술래나 다 친구하고 전제 맞아 쳐거라. 뭔가 류든 쳐고도 되네. 먼저 그 럽종제나 가르쳐봐나 제사게 때 시대인데 안 돼. 속부터 사대고라. 먼저 소재 강사에 무슨다. 소재도 쳐봐라. 실로 전제도 매와이나 영어 말. 자 실로 전제도 다 뺐대거라. 시워지 착신도 시워지 맞아서 된다고 되려고 뭐 내가 지금 거 주는 거 말도 배줘야 말 역시 샤 근데 방방냐 제때 근데 쓰고 말이야 치료 뭐 어디 아게 디제데 된다지래서 남생이 디제데 된다지요래서 다 군이 봐 충돌을 잡았답니다.
So Geshe said that by this, he doesn't mean to say that you should throw away everything and then take up the life of the hermitage. No. He says that as we are living in this society, where we are very much dependent on these things we call the material facilities, and as being who are born with a body that needs to be maintained and sustained, it is important to sort of apply ourselves into the consumption. But Geshe said, understand how to consume it. You should know how to consume it. Consume it without aggression and without attachment. Right? You can consume it because you need to sustain, but make sure that you consume it without aggression, pride, or attachment. And definitely to sustain this body, you'll need food, you'll need a house to stay, you need clothes to wear. And he doesn't mean that you should throw away everything and then live a life of hermitage. No, he means that definitely you need to live in the way that you're living, but make sure consuming.
That's just, yeah.
Example he gave, and the previous statement he made was just merely a comparison between a materialistic happiness and the peace of mind.
근데 이제 당한 저기 셈미시대 군도전에 셈미시대 토비하겠다. 친구보 던제 나 삼록에 니 송대도네. 친구보게 던제를 되는 소소 속보된죠. 바 최대다 때 맞추고 개점 붙고. 다 친구보 나 셈데 시보시대 인사 출로든 상만 남에 당하잖아요. 출로 속보를 되나 맞아서 칼을 되나 맞아. 남에 당하자와는 니마 저기야 자타보시 차이는 거예요. 내바차 와이나 아니 치료게 친구보게 대조 야매 땅에 쟁이 내바차로 방법이었죠. 마세 아니 디 쟁체네 나로게 생무시대 양자 갖고 쳐. 치료데 소보데 란싱게 마테바다 디데게 동아차와나 란싱게 나로 셈라에 시대데 용말 동아 호나 치 동아데 휴그만 내네 나로 동아 디지리아 용토 말스. 상마베 찬용 the balance law the square catch machines.
So Geshe said that when in acquiring the peace of mind, he doesn't mean that you should give up all the consumption. He said that since we are a being that exists with our body, we need to sustain it. We need to practice by utilizing this body. And this body needs sustenance. So we need to sustain it. We need to maintain it. And it's important to do it so. If we don't do it, what will happen is, like, for example, if you don't eat properly, if so skip meals, if you're like every single moment you're like sort of like trying to live a harsh life, what it will do is that it will make you sick. And at a certain point, you will be severe sick. And if your body is no longer capable of sustaining itself, that will affect your mind. And it is impossible to maintain a peace of mind at the stage of our mind, that is, to maintain that peace of mind when we are sick. Definitely, if you have great accumulation of practice, then that's a different thing. But with our level of mind, it is not possible to be in the peace of mind when we are sick or severely in a severe condition of our body.
대선장 간제 남편진도 시어라. 안에 랭탄집에 메젤라다 베샤스메 라이프스로 당한데. 근데게 자집에 밀려렌제스도 베가는 밀려렌제서라. 밀려제 랭탄 좀 쇼에서. 밀려렌탄 첨보에 메데다 소소게야 친구보다는 야메탄 차토젠도서. 내빠도차 메제디 토라 정도는 뭐여라. 근데도 버차와는 방법이 버차 버렸어. 밀려렌제세. 다 가서는 밀려렌제서는 매일 르디 되나네. 전도심제 신발을 들어봐야나 데이터는 한데 랍침보지. 차발 랍침보. 사과도 최도는 시바는 최냠대전에 세타가라나 상제에게 누가요래. 마세 심제 신의 펜터나 펜터에게 되게 누가 첨보지 그랬어. 데 안에 털어도 그랬어. 그래서 나디 답보제에 대해 항상 catch 버쳐 버렸어.
And so we usually term this lifetime as precious human life. We call it a precious human life because in this lifetime, we are very much capable of doing great benefit to the sentient beings and ourselves through the practice of Dharma. Therefore, we call it a precious human life. But if we go on doing very extremely harsh practice, those esoteric practice when we are not ready, and then we say that, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm going to practice even if I die. And if there's no accumulation and achievement and you die without achievement or accumulation, that's a very sad thing to happen. So therefore, you should practice, but at the same time, understand that you need to maintain this body, not out of selfishness, because it is a precious human life which has a great capacity to benefit yourself and the sentient beings.
대세 당한저 다저버데 노력 걸어 장어라 노력 걸어 전도잖아 노력 전도잖아 간저게 당연라 로세되잖아 지단게 남자 전도 간저라 숙직이요 에 삼로직이었어 니네가마다 왜 직직마다 니네 삼로 거고 말 셈스나 직마다 셈스나 직마다 말 어라 소포직다 셈직이요 니네가 직직마다 오게 니네 방고 지어지 삼로 거고 말
So usually when we think about this sort of mind, we always have this concept in ourselves. We think that, okay, there's one body, there's one mind. Just one body and one mind. So we have that sort of like preconceived notion that a single body, a single mind.
당한제 십자보지 한 속보 삼다이나 속보 나라라 데 왕배 말아라 뭐보다 benna seje malasa wada chakwa ju malasa wada de mangbo shochi mala soso la chasha mangbo shochi ta pa shibza wada waina sokola dinaji de yela mala soso la chaje mangbo ode mala tendo tribela ma de de ta ngan joge ma chung do ba na ta sel da ni ma bare sel de ma do ban de ma chung ta wa na atom la soko ma wo yung goro dinaji shibza wada ne sokola tamne mangbo do
So if we think about that one unified sort of like consciousness, that one sort of like single entity we call consciousness within ourselves, it becomes a very difficult understanding of how it sort of like operates our body. Because when we look into our body, we have different organ systems in our body. And when we delve into even more smaller divisions, we come across cells. And then these cells are made out of billions and billions of atoms. And then we see that many different organs system has different organs. Organs have different parts. Those parts have parts and parts have parts. And we see numerous parts of one part of things. And then when we consider mind to be a single entity, it is very difficult to think how this mind operates and is pervasive to all those parts. If we have that concept of mind being a singular entity within our body.
다 속보 나라들이 녀라 사바데 먼저 믹 통되어 야 가자 마도 하나 자동 제시 통되어라 마이크로스코프는 다 셈세데 믹 통해야 말해 녀로 들었어요 근데 녀로 들었어요 다 속보 나라 셈들은 셈 야가다 두고서라 속보 다셈 직세가 직 완전 남자도 셈 직세 호참다 기부요 삼자나 독자여 되게 말했어 마 14부 따와이나 셈 나올라 배트거나 맨다 칸데 뭐 쉬어져서 다때 맞아게 현대开始뭐 쉬어져 대신 바이나 어다때 셈데 막고 버트들이죠 때 가서 고해 드리셔서 어디서 예바체도 제가 쉬었어
So therefore, even if we look at those microscopic things, we feel that it's still more in our capacity to observe them under microscope. But then when we talk about the consciousness, it's something that's formless. So there's no way we can either measure it or we can observe it under a certain device. And so therefore, even if we have this sort of like understanding that mind is a single entity, but then we also understand that there are different types of mind. Different parts of the body are operated according to it. And then there are these virtuous mind, non-virtuous mind. So therefore, we should have the understanding and study about what is mind, what are different types of mind, which are the mind we should adopt, which are the mind we should abandon. So for this kind of understanding, to discern the different type of mind, it is important to study about these minds.
그래서 담방 간적에 셈데 카르에서 징글라 만동을 간적에 셈게 요새줘라 셈게 요드 때 이제 dorto지 무지 쳐봐이나 그 셈에 간다이 바지 양 때세 학회를 제가 때도 요래 땡도
So Geshe said that before we go into the study of the mind, it is important for us to know the different objects of the mind. So therefore, he feels that it is more efficient to first start our lessons by introducing different objects of mind.
또 니네도 당한 저기 시자도 시고라 시자 시도 되는 당한 저기 시자 서버에 딱 가래 믹토에 나와 엄저 거를 서버 간데 이제 요와들라 근데 시자 서버 또 피나면서라 어디도 시고라 다 딜라파 그런 여바체 와나냐 여바니도 시고라 다 주바도 미저 찍다 아니 주바도 봐 요제 근데 여바니 시고라
So Geshe said that so all the things which are out of the five senses or anything that can be perceived is considered to be a phenomena or knowable. And when we talk about phenomena or knowable, phenomena and knowable are broadly classified in two groups, which is permanent phenomena and impermanent phenomena. And then under the impermanent phenomena, we have the form, the consciousness, non-associated compositional factors.
다 대인들한테 가지고 빠만 내들라 딱 봤어 그러다 가지고 다대 아니 배전도지 예배 배전도 현재 가르쳐 샤서 텐도 대 배전지 샤달라나
So Geshe is asking this question to everyone. He's asking, this class, which is known as permanent phenomena, can anyone give Geshe an example of a permanent phenomena?
There is no permanent thing as such. Everything is impermanent. The phenomena of impermanence had been discovered by Buddha. So nothing is permanent.
Last Geshe tanda Quran ki Dr. Alkala Quran ki khar sonsla na nga segi chumden de gi son res tuje thamje mitaba son sa dung nga segi che yin chin je la nga segi mitaba ma ta ba yong chou ma res la chi.
다대 좀 뒤에 답변 메타고 사자 답변 되는 최 답변 동시 다음에 와서 되지 송요 다대 가서 뒤에 답변 메타 받았어요 맞아 최 답변 메타고 송요 말했어 대한테서 그 고가지 로가레스
So Geshe said that when Buddha said that phenomena are impermanent in nature, Buddha talked about compounding phenomena, not the uncompounding or non-compounding phenomena. So he meant all compounding phenomena are impermanent in nature, not that all phenomena are impermanent.
다대 니 여와도 써 보셔 버렸어 저것도 미저 직다
Geshe tandang so ilang la khona chi sungi sungsha.
sonda
Yes, ilang la.
Yeah. So if I'm remembering somebody I met yesterday, so that memory would be a permanent phenomenon, I think.
Ale khonang ki khar sonsla na khasi mi chi nyom to chi and khonang ki samatang da ches na zo tenshe she ba ta wo sa to.
네, 텐시에서도. 또 텐시에서도 되는 양은 저기 시베리 차이고라. 시베리 쳐도 되는 그 교도 그랬어. 시베리 가라이나다 데레스. 인 파마네스. 데 메타고인데 저 참자 교도 쳐줘. 교도 그랬어.
So Geshe said that since memories come under the class of consciousness, so it's impermanent and it changes.
저기 공부하나 가서 저거 정보 빼졌다 가서 다 된저때 예와스는 쉬고 다 뭐. 당한테 루르 장도 단당한테 럽센트에 공부하나 나 신경 용 말했어. 공부하나 14고 쇼도 되는 것도 되죠. 뭐 저도 되죠. 말이야. 되고 내가 다들 텔레 공개 축좀 장도 뭐. 이나 네 나눠 된다 또또또또. 마 안에 마슈에 체시된 거 예스. 또 공부하나 나 되가 저 발라서 망보 용 거다. 어디 몇 거지? 내가 저기 대마 티 나눠게 또또 된다. 서머리라고 뒤도 보지 마. 쉐 체시된 거.
tanda Menlhai lai chi sungi songsha Geshe-la.
Okay. Yes, Minal.
The sun, the stars, the moons, our constellation, all this will come under.
Khunangi ka songsla na nga chegi nyima ta saho ta so pa ta nga ta be gi chena ligi de beslas.
또 니마다 다와 전쟁한 저기 에 주바트에 사디 주바트에 남상회사 맨날 니만 주바트 돼. 또디나 나게 니마트 와처럼 니마트 와는 니메 나라 니메 딱마마 퇴식 좀 먹어야 되네. 네 나라 주바쇼 돼 버렸어. 니마 저걸 담보 여가 가서 되세도 마스라고 가자이나 다 먹고 싶지 빨려 봐나 그런 식 용도 되네. 네 주바트 없어. 내가 이제 까마다 사다 카레나 다가라는 했어. 주바트 거든요. 딱봐 말했어.
So Geshe-la said that all these things, the stars, constellations are all impermanent because as we see, the sun radiates and then it releases a lot of heat every single moment. And as it is releasing these sort of heat, it is dissipating as the time goes. So it's impermanent phenomena. So Geshe-la nga chagi chat nang lo la len kya sha nga chagi lobsang chenrisi korangi chi songsha kongi ka songsha la nga chagi 상계 고방 저기 고대 암 상계 고방 등 아주 딱바래 송샤
네, 고대전 딱 보죠.
아니
네.
워들랑 아주 트리푸티 젠티라 코랑기 갈 송샤라 나가 저기 드마제 남 딱바서
어떤다 레니스온다 데 산제 공방 고대셔나 딱 봐래. 대나지 두마제 나가서나 다 하나네. 딱 봐래. 다 니니 배전 셔고. 두마제 나가서 와나 가서 똥바죠. 똥상저로 반항세 똥바데. 나 데도 어디 단다 그 배전 셔다 대나 진게 아니 데 가서 고대셔를 속바다. 똥바니 있어야죠. 근데도 배전 셔는 되고 있다. 주가 좀 해줘. 그런 수가 다 가져 있어.
So Geshe-la said the answer that enlightenment, if when you say enlightenment, if you mean the cessation or the emptiness, then definitely it is permanent phenomena. And the other thing that Geshe-la said that the answer given by Trupti Jayala, Geshe-la said that when you say space, if it means the uncompound space, that is the sort of like the space which gives us the ability to store things. And this space is also permanent. So both of these are correct answer. 아니 Geshe-la tanda Ivana la 코랑기 가르송실라 nga 저기 응지 기가 저기 텐트와 응지 기 텐트도 딱바래 송샤.
다 안테 된데 딱 말하잖아. 데이스 다다야. 다 가셔 딱 봐요, 이제. 가셔 안테 된데 가셔 베나 답봐 많이 봐. 이 조바 줘 때부터 요청 그랬어. 다 가서
So
데 안데 짜서 뭐래 베나. 직 가라 직좀 니레서. 니데 딱 말해서는 야한테 키가 가고 저라. 근데도 라고 나는데 데 딱다 되고 믿어. 야 신바야. 런데 이터 내가 세토보데 내가 야 근데 야 직접 유지했어. 딱 봐지 못인데 요새 그랬어.
So Geshe-la said that the mathematical that you said, definitely they may be sort of types of mathematical laws that governs the ultimate truth of the nature. If that is the case, then definitely those are permanent. Otherwise, those more conventional ideas saying like 1 + 1 is 2, these are more conventional ideas. And so if those are the things that you refer to as actually and cannot consider to be permanent phenomena, but
기마다 체스된다고.
la
기마다
cheson
기마다 체스. 제가 간.
ale long kwanta ti ngazu de to si ma de to yugo to jem ba pe mong bo le sha
네.
ani talam de kyo de sha
사님을
la okay, so Geshe-la said that those mathematical laws pertains to sort of establishing the ultimate truth, then definitely those are permanent phenomena. But those more conventional idea of mathematics, those are permanent phenomena.
근데 이제 딱 완전히 딱 발라도 되네. 주가 줘야 먹어서 딱 뒤에 내가 탐자도 그때는 딱 똥바 반항세죠. 똥바 세줘라. 뒤도 왜나 가래나 줘대 젠스를 요 말고라. 똥바는 다른 마도 주가 준 줘야 말. 된제 그렇지 요래서다. 뭐 내줘라 봐. 뭐 내저게 뭐버들라나 시자들라. 이봐쳐봐나 주가 준에 줘야 메저 렉직제. 데 안에 반항도서다. 아니 똥바니 세지야. 데 뭐는 좀 타도 거지. 근데 그런 신고랑 대인데 저는 꼭 주가 줘야 데 직제. 아니 주가 줘야 렉지 요랬어. 주가 줘야 렉들라 당아서 예와숨로 제다 숙제 때문에 되지. 시와세지. 뭐 근데 숨 예와세야 돼. 뭐 내저래 여태 봐저래 맞아. 다 대책 소저들 그 말했어.
Uh, so Geshe said, that so things like the non-compound space or the uncompound space, which is by its own functionality, is a sort of like a vacuum that accommodates particles. So for particles to exist, there needs to be a space which is void of anything that is particle or with form. So that particular space, which is known as the uncompound space, is permanent. And similarly, he said the emptiness, which is the ultimate nature of all things, which does not arise with cause and does not cease with cause. This emptiness is something just phenomena. Other than that, most of the things that we usually perceive are impermanent phenomena, and they are broadly categorized in three groups: the form, the consciousness, and non-associated compositional factors.
근데 나 때문에 나 담보 저기 숨네 나 담보 속세줘라 속도 자잖아 속들 예와도 되는도지 펌세들 되는 예와도 잖아 마치도 어떤데 저랬어.
So now when we talk about the form can also be further classified in five classes: visible form, sound, smell, taste, and tangible, or things which we can touch.
당한 저기 visible forms는 다 담보져라 속러라 속다 들어 장가서라 다 담보 속스나 가다지 쓰고 속스나 가다지 고알는 거였어.
So Gayla, this question, when we talk about visible form, what do you think is a visible form?
When we see the objects with our eyes, external objects. So
Uh,
our mind should be present at that time. So mind plus sense organ, that is eye, and then external object, image. These three things should come in contact
Yes.
so that we pursue the things. This is visible form.
Last Geshe la khona tadanga doctor alka la khurang khar sons la ngi yu de da ani khurang nga zu gi pen cheshna yu de khurang la go be nga zu gi wong bo de la te be wong bo jing be nga zu she ba den zo sa la le jing gi mi ki nga zu gi mi gi wong bo ani khurang ki khurang rang gi nga zu sung cha yu de sung cha nga zo la wa cha ro pen cheshna pole la so pata khato gi na wa sha or dendrigin hawa de langa cheki ani visible form la gores and dicha do inji minji sheba de te yu de ani teni parking azo wongbo denzo som de che gures.
단다 그런 대해서 나가는데 다 visible forms는 다 속 제제라라 속 제제서 와데 make one way 요들라 속 제제세 나 심바도 막 저거 다 먹고 와서 근데 다세데 아니 에 나식 어 나베 시바게 코데게 요들라 아니 잘라 버렸어 나 시바 요들다 티세 제 시바게 또 되베데 요들라 아니 렉스티 로체 르이 제바게 또 되베데라 아니 렉자서 데데 요 요가 시오다 칠로라 요가 요와나 신게 나로라 원봉가 지그랬어 원베 시바가
So Geshe-la said the answer by Dr. Alcala is correct, and that is how we form the visible. And he said, similarly, if we apply it for the sound, the smell, the taste, and the touch, it is like these objects, when they come in contact with each of our consciousness. So, for example, for the sound, the consciousness of the ear, along with the sense of the ear, and then similarly, the nose with conscious of the nose, perceive object, which is the smell. And so there are so generally, so these are what we call the 5 objects. Then for these 5 objects, there are 5 so these are external factors, 5 factors, which are the 5 objects. And then for them, there are 5 internal factors, which are the 5 or 5 senses, and then 5 gate consciousness, which governs these 5 senses. So this is how we sort of perceive the form.
This is
And
당한 저기 데 원봉아 시오라다 요 담보 요데 말어라 하고 하나 딜라디나 요제데 하고 해서도 담마다 요드네 되는 거래로 지고 있어. 나한테 참마서라. 이 정말들 데스 담마데스 체. 엔테네 양 뒤어드네 요새 버려. 저저 시간 믿으잖아. 양 셰드 데 잠시야. 아니 뒤어야나 그럼 같이 뒤어 되잖아. 삼삼.
So Geshe said that. So therefore, to understand the subject or the perceiver, understand the object. And so he said that today, because of the time, he's unable to finish the PDF, the PowerPoint presentation on the conscious, which he said he will continue in the next class. So looking at the time, he said that he would like to take questions if there are any questions regarding today's session.
can I add one thing? That mind is also considered as a 6th sense organ, mind with thoughts. The 5 sense organs, like we already discussed, eye, nose, tongue, skin, and ear. These are 5 sense organs. And mind with thoughts, this is 6th sense organ. Means mind is also considered sense organ, 6th sense organ. Could you hear?
Yeah, I just lost you in the middle. Please repeat from the mind and thought.
Yeah, mind is also considered as 6th sense organ. We already consider 5 sense organs like eye, nose, tongue, skin, and ear. And 6th sense organ is mind with thoughts. Its object is thoughts.
Lasso Geshe Konan Karsons Tangi Sheba de Gan, that's Kanon Gachoba Chesons. Konan Suda Chiro Lasso Be Yungala, and Wangbonga, and Telanga to Zinkangin, Jota Buking, Suki, Gonge Shebanga. Tema Tangaki, Ani Sheba Lajanga, Suki, Sheba Lo Lachanga to Ujiures, the you talking to Gigi number Sheba Light Cheche, Suki, you the 나가 두 가지에 요래서 디딕퍼랑 디딕은 가능한 게 초바치에 송소.
신반야 뒤어야네. 뒤어 되면 뭐게. 단다 공도 시에시면 가려야나야. 뒤어 단다 뒤어 심마에 배야서서 가려 뒤어 단다 뒤어 가려야네. 제죠.
So Geshe said that yes, he said thank you, and then he said if there's any question on today's topic or any questions regarding the mind, if you have, he said that he would like to take questions now. Geshe tanda saris la Quran ichi suya resha.
Yes, Saris.
Geshe, my question, if I understood, Geshe said that like the body is made up of many, many small parts. So mind is also made up of many, many small parts. I mean, that is what I understood. And if that is the case, then would there be one crucial part which kind of exists much more than this lifetime? That's my question.
Geshe Quran Karsonsdana, Geshe Sondan Cheba in nga to Sujengi Mobola, nga to Yawata Yela Mangutus, Dina Shinga to Semla, Semla Yanga to Getendegi, Yelata, Chashi Mangu Yosades. ina ya nga chegi kewa thongma meba ne nga chegi kewa chin chin tro nye ki nga chu shiba ya de chi sha yo de best la chi kon de chwa chi kus chi shemba den zo le test chi sheba chawa chi da test nga chegi kyap chewa yin ba chi nga chegi
근데 살아서 그런 티베트 여러 개점 버리죠. 티베트 하고 싶도 아니 단다디 셈라고 단다 열라도 전에 열라도 전에 조sem다 심정선에 봐 조sem전에 지가 직접 데이터를 여다 봐 열라도 더버现在 되고 nga de sokchen nangshin ge ya de wang be ma la se jo ra de se na dang ma da na da ji bu de nya ma na da wo yo sem koran so sem se chik de ya ma ju la ma lai lai nga so sem je de la sim jong la ye wa mang bo pa chena pa de sim jong ngap ju le so ko de pa che yo de da wo yo ta de chik je ne ni ba de la ke ma nga ma ne chik se jo de yang ko nyok po jo ta de 데이터라 저바 방법으로서 가져 연결돼 있어. 다 데이터라 안에 좁다 소소소 면다더냐 셰드 방법을 남바 나눠라 저래. 남바다 데 방법 많이 나눠라야 다 데이터라야 제가 가면에 가져야 셈셋 딱 버렸어. 쑥 때문에 딱 버렸어. 어딘데 sollo 되지 뭐다 데이터라 칼레칼레 제셔. 다 지단게 셈셋이 토마토 어찌 왜나 토마 연말스. 토마토는 고추에서 남시세. 되요 말스.
So the answer to the first question, Geshe-la said that yes, just like the physical, like our body, we have the organ system which has different organs and different parts. Definitely, mind also can be classified in this way, where we talk about the primary mind and the mental factors. So we talk about the primary mind and different mental factors, 51 mental factors to be exact. And this classification is very similar to talking about organs and the organs in that system, but still a little different. And so we are going to talk about the mental factors and the primary mind as we move with our lessons, sessions. And then the second answer, Geshe-la said, when we talk about that mind which transmigrates from one lifetime to the other, it's a very complicated concept, even in Buddhism, because different tenet system will assert different belief in this particular question. And some would say that mind is permanent. Some would say that mind is not permanent. So, for example, non-Buddhist philosophy, some of them would say that mind is permanent and that the body dies, but the mind continues. But then in certain sort of like philosophical tenet in Buddhism, we don't believe the concept of permanent mind. Mind itself is impermanent, but still it transmigrates from lifetime to lifetime. But then if we talk about something called a primordial mind, Geshe said that mind is something that is beginningless. Though there is a concept of primordial mind, mind itself is beginningless. So we will also talk about these things in the session. Lasso. Ani Geshe la tanda dipti light chisungay resha chuwa.
Yes, Tibdila.
You said something about subtle wind and enlightened emptiness. So I'm wondering, would that wind fall into enlightened emptiness? And could it be described as a vibration?
Geshe la Quran ki chuwa di karash na tengu du ge la zu isongsa Geshe la ki sem chamo la ji chi songswa. Ta Quran ki kodo la nga zu sem chamo ma ko che tanda nga zu ki long chamo nga zu ki long chamo long sem chamo long chamo shi
Then I want to chess.
song.
Then I want to try to chess people.
Ale la so Geshe la tada tugu du be.
Not a good.
Na Quran ki tangi nga zu Geshe la ki sem chamo la di Quran ki kwa khal cha long chamo she ba ji yorwa di kwa de ji kwa yesare. Ang kwang ki ka songs na dendre ki long chamo de nga zu long sem chamo ki long chamo de nga zu ki lab gi rang shin ta chogu ri bes la chi ta dendre
that day, Jitange, 먼저 차 도보겠다 그자래 된저제 상황에 차 도보겠다 에 내주로 차대보다 돼 논센 터머스잖아 논다 셈세다 셈세디 먼저 셈 남로라 예바 뭐 붙여도 되느냐 sem simjong shela sokwata ya ane tokpata tongme shiwa sokwata ya sem chawata rakwa secho nida yawa mabu cheyo na sem chawata rakwa korasho de tena tsa tobo ge ta gacha shewo yore diya ane sem chawa nanglo lung se de ta nga jogi namje ge lung se di chilo ge wind se di mares ta di energy se jo nyuba dojo kogors 때 고도 전에 된저 때 안에 지단게 대쟁한도 권하셔야 투담의 대be 가서 쌤 차와다 쌤 남자 여와잖아 쌤 락바 안에 참모 시도 차봤어요. 다티 타셔 때 있는 단가 시오라. 다 대주대 다티 랍되네 그때 잡아야 말스.
So Geshe said that this particular question delves more to the field of Tantrayana, and it comes into the highest teaching. And so currently we're discussing the Sutrayana and more sort of like preliminary things into Buddhism. And he said, Geshe said that in the Tantrayana, definitely we talk about these very subtle level of mind, subtlest mind, and the subtlest wind. But and he also said that when we talk about mind, even in the Sutrayana, we say that okay, the mind can be classified as primary mind, mental factors. Mind can be classified as the sort of conceptual mind and non-conceptual mind, gross mind and subtle mind. But the classification of a subtle mind and a gross mind comes very into the field of the Tantrayana. And talking about the subtle mind and especially the subtle wind is something that delves into a very sort of like deep understanding of the Tantrayana Buddhism. So therefore, he said, generally, even though we are not going to discuss it, he said that even though that is the case, but generally when we talk about the concept of the subtle wind, it is definitely not in a sense of vibration.
Okay, thank you.
아니 게실라 던더 챵낭로 칼티샤라 나가 저기 트룹티 자인라 코랑기 티샤 나데 스템 셰바디 수부디 메바쳐디 셈 시그레 베스 야메나 셈 딩아 저기 수부디 메바차나 더도 균싱제 네그레 베스 게시 덴드지 임바이나 셈 셰바딩아 저기 단다 치루바 라소 베깅아 저기 단다 다셰럽 기기부 라소 바 덴드레기 수다 셈딩이 카가 간데 차고 오레스가 저 딱베기 셈랑 마임버체 치료받은 저기 다 셰바데 당 저기 셰바니데 셈 셰바니데 코니 발케바 가리 요레스
단다 그런 게 뒤바디 녀라서 오셔 다디 먼저 공부하는 좀 먹고 다디 걸. 좀 먹고 자세 시도 쳐 버려. 나 셈세데 숙데 메와나 셈데 메와 책을 말했어요. 다 셈세데 좀 권해줘라. 셈세데 그런 게 등에 셈데 메와 책을 내가 셈데 뭐 주버도니 셈발로. 뭐 쉬워 줘도 나 그 셈데 주버도. 그나 간저게 될라도 세리도 나잖아. 에너지 세데 에너지 never lost 로. 뉴버스 나면 라야 뭐서. 대나신 더더 쳐고. 셈데 진짜 봐 줘도. 나 뺐다 거는 준체 준이 뺐다 거는 최고 맞어. 속보된 것들 도와 하와이나 생기 준이 생고란 도서 생기 준이 봐 줘도 셔발 봐 준에 봐 줘도 버스. 대체데 데다 안에 단다 시에가 딱바란 중 끼고 세대 로가르스 딱바란 중 끼고 고도 시에도 시에데 딱바란 거 줘도 맞어. 먼저 셈데 줘도 만들어도 그러나 에너지 직 파 트랜스포트 되는 직코랑 나고 말이야. 농업 참자 남바 줘도 되도 그러죠.
So Geshe said the question posed by Trupti Jainla is a very complicated question, which he said that he always used to debate on it in the monastery. And so he said that when we talk about mind, a very similar principle comes in physics. It's called the law of conservation of energy, which says that through the principle of dynamo, an energy can our consciousness as
this chess better than the one. Energy is in chess.
So Geshe said that through the principle of dynamo, as energy changes from one form to another, similarly, the consciousness that we have upon our when we leave our body, this consciousness, the principle consciousness, it will just go and then it will change according to the next lifetime. So it will also change according to the fact, the sort of the body that you're going to be born in. So it will change. And therefore, this is very different from the concept of soul, which seems to be more eternal and changing. So the sort of like the greatest difference between these two is that the soul is considered to be more eternal rather than consciousness, the mind that is impermanent. 라서 아니 단다 데도 저기 рат나커 코랑 라 코랑기 추어지도.
Gisela, thank you for this opportunity. Happy to have you teach us all this beautiful and precious teachings. My question is related with what you said some time back, that mind is beginningless. So even enlightened person like Buddha, enlightened being like Buddha, today also has a mind. So can we also say that mind is also endless?
라서 게실라 코랑기 주어 커레실라나가 저기 셰바 딜라가 저기 통마메스라 여러와스가 저기 아니 데데나 기 가자 좀 시작해 두바 라소바 이나가 저기 꾸냥엘라 쇼제 nga 저기 치소 넘버 탐지 상게베 제네양아 저기 다동장 코랑기 저기 암켄라 제 셰베기 차지 nga 저기 된데지 여바더지 송고도 왔을 텐데 인바이나 nga 저기 셰바 딜라 통마 요마레 라와나시 딜라 타마 요마레스라 제 안가 저스라 제 뒤로 고수 코나
네 토마 메바나 제 토마에 메바도 저데 gamba도 버래 그새 다시 봐대 먼저 마음을 빼자셔라 마음에 대나 칼레 간담나 나눠 먹고도 numlo 서고 저에나 마음이 싫어도 셰바대 뒤에 되는 날씨 채요 맞소 다 제바티네 지로 상계와나 상계나 별도라 로시와나 제 직항 매워 채고 말았어 집에 준대도 타마 토마니게 타요 말았어 나 딱바래서는 딱바 말았어 가서는 그 주어도 봐 딱바서는 땐도 당보 가려요 다가란대요 당한저 쌤부터 주어도 당보 쌤 녀몽 차다 먹도 딱 걸레 냠래체 야야 또 봐이나 녀몽도 마 뇽뇽뇽뇽도 타마들이야 산저도 전에 주어도 되고 딱바 말았어
So Geshe said that what your sort of like understanding is correct. That is true. That the mind doesn't have a beginning as well as it doesn't have an end. Similar to the Buddha, when one attains enlightenment, it is not like how we turn off a light in a dark room. It doesn't go dark like that. He said that it has a continuum. Mind is not a candle. When it is burned entirely, there is no longer a candle. It is not in that way. Mind, it will continue its continuum. But even though it doesn't have an end, doesn't mean that it is permanent. It will change as it exists. So this is what Geshe said. 아니 Geshe tantan Ivana lagi chuachi kusha korangi kharang sem la de da sheba la de ni phala keba yore beslach.
다 쌤들은 다 지난 건 저기 조쌤도 좋고 그래. 쌤다 얘다 남바를 쉐와라도 조쌤 저 쉐와들 안에 심중도 상마 추임 거래. 쉐와서라데 쌤 심중 니게 추대 그 직제. 안에 쌤세데 안에 조쌤도 근데 좋고 쌤다 얘다 남바를 쉐와서 튼적이 보다. 근데 쉐와서데 따라 쌤 심중 니게 추대 보스. 근데 직제 보여렸어.
So Geshe said that the difference between a mind and consciousness is that whenever we talk about mind, it refers to the primary mind. Whereas consciousness could have different level. Consciousness is more pervasive. So consciousness consists both the mind and the mental faculties. Whereas when we talk about mind, whenever we refer to the word mind, we always talk about the primary mind. Whereas when we say consciousness, it could be the primary mind as well as the mental faculties, or the mental factors.
그래서 다 되는 되잖아. 나.
So Geshe said that we'll call it a day.
So mind and consciousness are both same.
Geshe tamajiku so Dr. Alkalai. Ani te seva inanga ki sheva ani sem sheva de chigrabas lan sonso.
쌤다 쌤다 예세 찍으랬어. 쌤다 예 넘버 쉐와서 자.
One and only thing, mind and consciousness.
쌤다 쉐와서 찍 말했어. 쌤서 저 쌤제 쉐와서나 쌤 중니가 찍으랬어.
Geshe said that mind and consciousness may not be synonymic, because when we say consciousness, a consciousness can have both the primary mind and the mental factors. But when we say mind, we specifically refer to the primary mind. So that is the difference. But mind and the consciousness of mind are same.
Yeah, the mental faculty arise. These are the branches of primary mind. Faculties. These faculties are the branches of the primary mind. You mean to say?
Geshe kirangi tandanga tsegi sem jung sheba dinga tsegi zo sem gi yan la de la chi sung gu be song.
Yan la do shan de what? Yan la do what?
Yes. Geshe said you can consider it similar to the branches of primary mind.
Okay, then if we are done with the question answers, may I proceed to the dedication prayers, Geshe?
Yes, please.
Geshe nga zong hoa che ga song.
Okay. Okay, please join me for the dedication prayers from Shanti Deva's way of the Bodhisattva. Hope I'm audible. May all beings everywhere plagued by suffering of body and mind obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or even fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, with a mind beaten by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak and sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and harvest. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With this, I would like to thank you, Venerable Geshe Lobsang Tenzin, for the teachings on Lorig. Thank you for translating teachings Tenzin Lakpala. Thank you everyone for joining to learn the Lorig teachings. And thank you Tenzin and Tashila for your background support. Thank you to all supporters of Menlhai Jamtse Ling and all core team members. Without your support, we would not exist. There is one short announcement that we meet on 22nd June now at the same time on Sunday, that is 2 p.m. IST. Do read the PDF book. Hope you all have received the copy. And thank you once again. Have a lovely Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Menalhanji, and
Thank you.
and everyone. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you, Geshe.